Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear student, today we'll start our new course that is called as Corporate Finance. Corporate Finance is the advanced course of finance in which we will discuss different areas or different aspect of finance. As you have already done certain aspect of finance and certain concepts of finance in business finance course and financial management course, so we will be applying all these basic concepts into the area of finance. The corporate finance is basically the area of finance that deals with the sources of the funds, the capital structure of corporation, that how much the funds should be acquired from the debt sources, and how much funds should be generated from equity source, and what would be the combination of preferred stock, common stock in your capital structure, and what amount of long-term and short-term and intermediate-term liabilities or debt should be incorporated in your capital structure, and that action that manager takes to increase the value of the firm to the shareholders, because the ultimate goal of every organization is to increase the value of shareholders. So the main emphasis of financial managers are to increase the value of the firm by incorporating certain aspect and certain uh, activities and certain tools which will help to increase the value of your shareholders. And also we will discuss tools and analysis used to allocate financial resources. As we have, as in the organization, there are financial resources, and how we will allocate these resources into different types of assets and different type of areas and projects. That is another aspect of corporate finance. But the primary goal of corporate finance is to maximize or increase shareholders value, obviously, or by doing or by designing the capital structure, or by applying certain tools and techniques and certain analysis, and allocating the resources. The main emphasis of the financial manager or the is to uh, increase the shareholders value, and that is the major concern of your corporate finance, that the ultimate goal is to increase the shareholders value, and whatever we are doing is our main emphasis should be that we want to increase the value of the organization for shareholders. As what is corporate finance? Every decision that a business makes has financial implications. That means that whatever we are doing in the business, it actually increases or decreases the financial position of the company, or it must have any impact in the operations of the business. And any decision which affect the finances of the business is a corporate finance decision. So obviously we would make it sure that any kind of decision and or any kind of activity which has impact on the finances of the company is comes under the jurisdiction of corporate finance. So every broadly defined, everything that a business does fit under the rubric of corporate finance. That means obviously in a business, if we are purchasing something or selling something, or making expenses of something, or hiring a certain HR and everything, so, or making a marketing budget, or marketing policy, or we are doing any other kind of procurement. So all these things have certain financial implication, because we have to spend certain amount of money, or we have to pay, or we have to plan for certain amount of money. So all these functions, or everything the organization does, comes under the umbrella term of corporate finance. So it's the corporate finance is a very important field of business, because it helps to manage the finance of the business, and it helps the manager to make appropriate and ultimate utilization, or better utilization of the funds of the organization. Broadly speaking, we can say that there are three major decisions in corporate finance. Number one is the allocation decision. Number second is the financing decision, and the number third is the dividend decisions. So first of all, what is allocation decision? Allocation means distribution, assigning. So we have in the organization different kinds of resources, different kind of finances, but obviously we want to have maximum utilization of all these resources. So when we are when we are deciding about the allocation of these resources, so you have to ascertain that these resources are scarce and we have to make a best utilization of these resources. So where we should invest our resources, and what how we can make good for a make them good for good investment. While if you want to make a purchase of a certain long-term asset or certain fixed asset, so you have to see that whether this decision is correct or not, whether we are using our resources in a better way or not. For example, if you are purchasing a large installation machinery, so obviously you have to see that what type of cash flows you will getting from these, and for how much time, and what should be the depreciation level of that machinery, or what is the condition of that machinery. So by ascertaining all these things, we can take the decision of purchasing that machinery. So is the case with different kind of idle cash or anything which is the company has. So how we can make best utilization of these resources by making good investment. Secondly, the financing decision. Financing decision is actually is related to the to purchase of assets, or actually acquiring of certain funds, because we have different types of sources of funds, like it might be equity. And when we talk about equity, we can generate fund through preferred stock, we can generate fund through issuing of issuing of equity. Or if we talk about debt sources, so we have variety of financial sources, or you can say financial instrument available in the financial market, whether it will be money market, whether it will be a capital market. So how we can finance different activities of the company or different resources. So where do you raise the funds for these investment? Obviously you want to purchase a long-term asset, or you want to purchase a building or land, or installation facility. So how you can get funds for for those investments? Generally, what mix of owner's money or borrowed money do we use? So what that which actually mainly about the capital structure decisions, that how would we structure our capital, how much amount of should be the equity and how much amount should be the debt, or what should be the mix of different types of debt sources which should be utilized in the business. The third decision mainly is the dividend decision. The dividend is actually called as the withdrawal from the business, because when you are distributing amount of money or a part of your profit to your shareholders, so that should be categorized as withdrawal from the business. But we cannot refrain from that, because the shareholders are there. So in order to retain your shareholders, in order to increase the trust of the business into of your shareholders, you have to give them dividends. So how much of the funds should be reinvested in the business, and how much should be returned to the owner? So that is actually a very important decision, because this decision is associated with reinvestment, as you have to see the state of your business, what amount of money we should be reinvested in the business. Actually, this is about your dividend payout ratio, that what should be your dividend payout ratio. So based upon the conditions of your business, based upon the market condition, based upon your opportunities, based upon your market value or shareholders, and the intentions of your shareholders, you can decide that what amount should be reinvested in the business and what amount should be distributed among your shareholders. Now, if we look into the traditional accounting balance sheet, at end we have assets, and the other end we have liabilities and owner equity. And when we see the combination of assets, we have fixed asset, We have current fixed asset, that is called as lived real asset. We have current assets, or also we can call them working capital, or we also call them operating capital, and they are also called as short-lived assets. Then we have financial investment, that is that the investment of the companies in certain securities and bonds, and assets of the other firms. And then we have intangible assets. These are assets which are not physical, like patents, trademark, goodwill. So these are these are the certain combination of assets, and these are called as the resources of the business. On the other hand, we have liabilities in owner equity section, in which we have current liabilities. These liabilities are short-term liabilities of the firm. They also include trade credit, negotiable instrument, and commercial papers, and all the liabilities which are for the shorter time period. Then we have debt, that are debt obligation of the firms. That means you have loans or long term loans and other obligation of the firm, or at times, certain times, it also includes the unearned revenue of the firm. And unearned revenue actually is included in your current liabilities. Then other liabilities include your bonds and debentures, and other long lived term asset, like also your your bank loans and etc. Then we have equity. This is the amount of money which is being contributed by the owners. In the traditional firm, like for sole proprietorship, it has only one owner, and all the amount which has been contributed by the owner is included in this portion. But in the case of partnership, the all the partners and their contribution are included in this. But in the case of corporate setup, we have over here the amount of money contributed by your common stock, amount contributed by your preferred stock, and the retain earning. Actually, the return earning is the amount of money, amount of profit which is being reinvested in the business. So all these things are included in the equity form when you are operating as a corporation business. Now, if we look at the financial view of the firm, that how the financial manager or the people from the corporate finance division see the firm. First of all, they'll see the existing asset, that assets are in place. So they'll see the existing investment, that how much amount of money is being involved in these investment, and how they are generating cash flows today. That obviously you have make investment, so you have to see the performance of that investment, that asset what you have purchased, that how it is contributing to generating cash for the firm. And all these asset includes your fixed asset, your that means that the machinery you have purchased, or your building or land you have purchased, and how they are contributing in the generation of cash flows. And secondly, your working capital. Obviously, your working capital is also called as revolving capital. This capital is actually being revolved and help to generate revenue for the firm. So how this working capital which existent you have is contributing to generating the steady amount of cash flows, and the actual amount of cash flows, and whether these cash flows are enough, whether they have more potential, or whether they are being efficiently utilized. Secondly, as the financial manager is there to increase the efficiency of these assets. So obviously they'll see that the growth asset as well, that how what are the expected value that will be created by future investment. That means that obviously if you are in a growth phase, the company is growing, so they'll see that how they can invest in different type of investment by increasing the growth of the firm, and by increasing in the cash flows the company is already generating, and how they can make the efficient utilization of all this cash which is being generated by the assets. Secondly, if you look at the liability side, so they'll see that what are the fixed claim on cash flows, that actually the liabilities are there, you have to pay these liabilities. So you will see that how much there are fixed claims on cash flows, that for example, if you have borrowed money from a bank, or if you have generated funds from the sale of bonds, so you actually have a claim on your financial cash flows, which then for that are actually your interest amount, and you have to pay these interest from the cash flows you are generating. Or little or no role in management, like for example, that do they have in the they have any role in the management of these liabilities, or there are certain liabilities which have fixed maturity, and at that point, at the maturity time, you have to pay the full amount of those liabilities. So what are those amount of liabilities, and what amount of money which is needed at the time when you have to pay these liabilities, and the tax deductibility. One of the benefit of your debt is that it is actually a tax deductible item. Like before paying taxes, or before calculating the taxes, you have to deduct your interest amount. So obviously we can say that the interest you pay on these liabilities is actually a tax deductible item, and it can increase your tax burden. So how they are contributing into the tax deductibility of your taxes. And the second aspect of this side is your equity, that what is the residual claim on cash flows of your different shareholders and different the holders you have, and significant role in management, that how they can these manage all the amount of equity and equity the company have, like, and perpetual lives, like there are certain, if you look into the common stocks, it has unlimited life. So what is these virtual lives which are included in this? So these are the main aspect we discuss in the equity side. Modern form of firms, as we are talking about the businesses, so we have different kinds of organization structure of business, but the modern form of firms are your corporation, which is actually a business which is created as a distinct legal entity composed of one or more individual or entities. The main emphasis was that the these corporations have unlimited sources of finance, and they can perform better as compared to the other form of business organizations, like a partnership or sole proprietorship. The main advantage of this modern form of organization is that there is limited liability, as the person who has invested in the business has a limited liability. It is liability is actually related to the amount of money is which he has invested in the business. The other factor is that the corporation form of business has a distinct feature, like a separation of control. That means that people who have invested in the business are not those people who are going to manage the business. The business is managed by the team of managers, or you can say that board of directors, which are professionals, which have experience, they have education regarding their specialized field, and they can have and they can manage the organization in a better way as compared to to any other owner. Or at the end, another feature that is very much important is that there is ownership can be transferred easily, because once the shares are being issued in the primary market, or an IPO is being done, these shares are being dealt in the secondary market, and the transfer of ownership can take place easily uh, in the stock exchange. Then another the disadvantage, or you can say it's a feature or disadvantage of modern farm of business, is that it has a double taxation. And what is the concept of double taxation? The double taxation is like when the firm declare its profits, they have to pay the taxes on their profits, or their net income. And after declaring their net income, they have to distribute dividends to shareholders after paying taxes. So once these dividends are distributed among shareholders, the shareholders have to pay taxes on their personal incomes, and they have to include the amount of dividend they are being receiving from their shares. So in this way, these dividends are being double taxed. So we can say that as the corporation is a large setup, so it is comparatively expensive to other form of organization, because before establishing this corporation, you have to perform many financial expenses or startup expenses, and we have to do certain other expenses as well. And when the corporation, the operations of being the business are being going on, so in that case also their expenses are more as compared to other forms of business organization. Then the important problem associated with this form of organization is agency problem. And this as a problem stems from the fact that there is a separation of control and management. The people who are going to manage the business are not the people who have invested the money in the business. So obviously their interests are different, as shareholders are more interested to increase the value, and they want their firms to increase, and they want their amount of money invested in the business to increase. But on the other hand, the people who are going to manage are more concerned with their jobs, with their salaries, with short-term performance. So in that case, there is a problem, agency problem, in which there would be a conflict of interest between shareholders and the management. Now, what is the responsibility of financial managers? Because financial managers are there to perform the activities of corporate finance and all the activities related to finance in the organization. So they are the people who have to address the different tasks of your finance. So the top financial manager within a firm is usually the chief financial officer, and or we can call him a CFO. So there are two major tasks, two major branch of this chief financial officer's job, that is your treasurer and controller. The treasurer job is to oversee the cash management, like the inflow of cash, outflow of cash, and proper utilization of cash, and increasing and acceleration of different collections, and credit management, which is actually associated to planning of your credit policy, and collection of account receivables, and other tasks. Then your capital expenditure, the long term expenditure, and how we can perform these things, and financial planning, like forecasting for the future, and distribution of finances in different aspects of the business, and making budgets and plans for different activities. On the other hand, we have a controller, which actually oversees the taxes, that yeah, this is associated with the filing of tax returns, and payment of taxes. Then cost accounting, mostly related to your managerial aspect of accounting, in which you'll see the different cost of goods sold, and other expenditure associated with the manufacturing and production of the products of the company. Then financial accounting, which is more associated to development of financial reporting to the outside parties, and organization of the data in order to facilitate the external uses of the organization, and data processing, that how we can collect the data, and how we can arrange the data in order to perform different tasks associated with different aspects of finance and money. There are different goals of financial management, as we are more concerned with management of the or finances of the organization. So the first goal, you can say, is the survival, that the organization want to survive for the longer period of time. No organization start the business with the perspective that they'll shut down their business activity in future period. They actually want to pursue their business over the longer period of time. So the first thing when the business starts, or when on the ongoing business, the first aspect is that the company want to survive in the market and they want to sustain their operation. Second one is that they want to beat their competitors, beat the competition. They want to overcome their competitors. They want to gain the market share, and they want to overthrow their competitors. So that's another reason of your management of your finances. Then maximization of your sales. Obviously you want to increase the market share. So in order to increase your market share, obviously you maximize your sales, and once you maximize your sales, you will be able to maximize your profit as well, or maximize net income. Obviously it's amount of profit, so you want to increase the profit as well. And maximization of share market. Then minimization of cost, because when you are going to manage your cost, not by decreasing the quality of the product, but maintain with the sustaining of the quality, you want to minimize your cost. By proper planning and by eliminating certain deviation, eliminating certain things which are incurring too much cost. So you obviously want to minimize your cost, because once your cost would be declined, your profit portion would be increased. So all these actually perspectives are associated to maximize the value of the share. When your company is performing well and there is a positive sentiment and positive aspects in your financial reporting and financial statements, and your business operations, so obviously people are willing to buy the shares of your company. And once there is intentions of that people want to buy your shares, obviously your share price would be increased. So that is another aspect of financial management, to increase the value of the shares by maximizing your market share, sales, net profit, and minimizing your cost. The first principles of corporate finance. As we are discussing corporate finance, there are three basic aspects, and or can say the first principles of corporate finance. First of all, the major emphasis of the financial manager or corporate financial manager is to invest in those projects that yield a return greater than the minimum acceptable hurdle rate. Now that is actually the asset allocation decision, and the company is trying to invest in different kinds of projects or in different type of assets. So the emphasis over here is that the manager wants to invest in those projects which can earn more than the hurdle rate. And what is the hurdle rate? Hurdle rate is actually the cost of investing in that business. Like for example, when you are going to acquire that project, you have to acquire funds from different sources, you have to incur certain other financial costs and other costs, so that the total cost which are going to incur when you want to acquire that project is called as your hurdle rate, and you want to have a return more than that hurdle rate. So, and once you can ascertain the hurdle rate, you have to ascertain that when you are investing in certain riskier projects, so these riskier projects have additional risk associated with that, and there are risk with of failure of that. So in that case, you have to determine higher hurdle rate for those projects which have more risk. And secondly, the hurdle rate also reflects the financial financing mix. That means that you have to acquire funds from equity side. You're issuing stock and other kind of stock, like a preferred stock and other stock, or borrowed money like debt, or issuing bonds, etc. So these kind of financial mix have their own cost as well. So you have to also ascertain this thing. Secondly, we are going to measure the return, because you have to ascertain both the hurdle rate and the return associated with that project. So once we are determining the return associated with that projects, you have to ascertain that what would the cash flow generated with these cash flows, what are the cash flows generated by these projects, and what are the timing of these cash flows. As we are well aware of the concept of a time value of money, and we also know that the later we get the cash, obviously it loses its value. So what would be the timing of that cash flows, and what would be the discounted value of these cash flows? And also we have to ascertain the positive and negative side effects of these projects as well. So by ascertaining all those things, we can then match the hurdle rate and the return associated with that project, and see that whether these hurdle rate is lower or higher than that return. And if it is higher than hurdle rate, obviously we will accept those project. Second thing, that is actually a financing decision, that is that you have to determine the mix of financial resources to finance those projects. So choose a financial mix that minimize the hurdle rate and matches the asset being financed. Obviously we want to have a mix of those financial resources which can minimize your hurdle rate. And obviously we have to see that what kind of assets are being financed with what kind of resources, or financial resources. Matching those things will also decrease the hurdle rate as well, or you can say the cost of borrowing. Last thing is, if we see that we are not able to get much return from different projects or the cash we have in hand, and so we can return these cash to our shareholders, because those are the real owners of the business, and they have the right to get that cash back if you cannot utilize that cash in a better possible way. So there are different forms of return, and whether they can be paid with dividends, or you can buy back the shares they have, or it depends upon the nature of your or characteristic of shareholders you have. Then whatever you are doing, whether you are investing in the projects, whether you are determining the financial mix, or whether you are asserting that whether we should go for stock buyback, or dividends, paying dividends to your shareholders, the main objective of the corporate manager or finance manager, corporate finance manager is to maximize the wealth of or the value of the firm, because the value of the firm will increase the value of the money which is being invested by the shareholders.